had killed the market for, of course. Now this had killed the market for, of course.
Good evening, everyone that is watching me on Blackwood Fire Network. My name is INNOSSETU. Together with my colleague Africa Maria is going to join me. Yeah, she's going to join me soon. How has been your weekend? Let me hope your weekend has been so fine. Let me hope everything is moving on well. Yeah, today is a Monday, and of course today is 8th. This is a new month. Today is the 8th. Today is 5th of August. I'm sorry, but now this laptop is confused. This machine is confusing me with the date, but today is 5th August 2024. This is the 8th month of the year, and of course I welcome you for that long weekend. And of course, normally for me, my weekend starts from Thursday evening until Monday morning. That is my weekend. So the weekend is always a long one. Yeah, here in Uganda, it is of course 37 minutes past 4 p.m. I don't know what is your time. For those that are watching me now, I don't know your time zones, your different time zones, but in Uganda, of course, from Facebook, Facebook is down. For those that are watching me from YouTube, Blackwood Fire Network 2, and of course Twitter, Blackwood Fire Network 1. So thank you for watching me, and subscribe if it is your first time to watch me. If it is your first time to watch me on this time, on this channel, subscribe to this YouTube channel so that we can grow it. And whenever actually you subscribe, if at all you subscribe, you have an added advantage. Like whenever we're coming in for different shows, let them be other shows from different, of course, Blackwood Fire Network channels on YouTube. You're notified on your phone or on your computer that someone is coming in for a show, for a beautiful, of course, and exciting show. So subscribing is always very important. Yeah. Today being a Monday, our topic or our main point of emphasis is about the Nigerian of course, protests. These protests, of course, started, of course, on 1st August. Serious protests started on 1st August, and of course, Nigerians said they are going to, of course, to extend these protests for 10 days. They are going to show this content for 10 days. Yes, the first day, of course, protests were successful with a lot of people being injured, over 19 people being killed the same day. The second day they had it. Even today they had protests. But as the, like I said at the beginning of these protests, of course they go on, of course, transforming. They have new demands every day. But we see today that, of course, Nigerian protesters were spotted with Russian flags. What does this mean? But all we see protesters, actually, I'm sorry to say this. This is not, of course, a discouragement uh, to Nigerians or to other African countries. Yeah, Kenya had protests. These protests were successful. These protests were led by, of course, no one. Like everyone felt like wants to be on the streets to fight the financial bill stuff. But it's going to be very hard in Africa to see protests that were in, of course, Nigeria, to see them in other parts of Africa. Yes, we may, of course, have protests, but it may be very hard for us to see, like the protests that were in Kenya. Because if you today, we see, of course, youths on streets of Abuja carrying, of course, Russian flags. What does this imply? What does this mean? I was looking at these youths. I was looking, I don't know whether I even have that video here, but I was looking at those youths. They were carrying Russian flags. Sometime back, I said, like, where do these people print out these flags and stuff? They were carrying Russian flags. I don't know whether I have that video for real. I don't know whether I have that video. Is this the one? Is this the one? Is this the video? But I was so surprised. Like, let me try to share this. Share this video here. Is it the one? Is it the one? I'm trying to look, of course, at that video where these people are having, of course, I guess it is the video. I guess it is the one. Now look at these Nigerians. I guess you're looking at those Russian flags. These, of course, are I guess we can, of course, we see, of course, this Nigerian carrying those, of course.
Putin is coming.
I guess we can spot those Russian flags. Where do those people get those Russian flags? They woke up with Russian flags up. So those of course Nigerian of course people. Uh, those were of course Nigerian youths. Of course are protesting, but alongside the Russian flags. So whenever, of course, Africans, of course, come out and wake up and champion something that is, of course, that is useful for our needs, it is we Africans, it is the Nigerians that, of course, that go through the corrupted government of Tinubu, that go through the high prices of fuel within within Nigeria. It is the Nigerians that, of course, that the price of food is expensive in Nigerians. But whenever we have such serious issues, there is a way we saw, of course, these white people, Europeans and other people, of course, coming out to, of course, to interfere with of course, with everything that, of course, that is planned. And if at all these youths, if at all they are protesting, being backed by Russia, we are not going to see any change in Nigeria. That is why at the beginning, at the very first beginning, I was saying that the Kenyan protests are so different from these protests that we are having, that are going on across Africa. And we may not experience, of course, these protests. The protests that were in, of course, that were in Kenya, we may not experience them in other parts of Africa. Because These people had to wake up with the Russian flags for what? It means they are supported, to my little understanding about this. It means they are supported by Russia. It means that they are supported by Russia. I remember in 2000, actually, no, let's look at all countries where, of course, Russia or Russia has engaged, of course, has supported, of course, protesters. We see whether these countries, of course, have got any change or peace. Let's look at Sudan. Besides Sudan, let's go to Libya during Gaddafi's time. Of course, most of the protesters during that time, they weren't paid by Russia, but they were paid by, by those Western, of course, countries. Those are countries that have got instabilities even up to today. I don't support Tinubu's government. I don't support him. But these people should protest on the real cause. They shouldn't be diverted. Now, these countries, now Russia is coming out to divert people from what they are protesting, from what they are protesting for. It is diverting these people. If at all people walk up with these flags, it means something. Who printed them out? Should we think that they got them for free? So this is not something to be joked about. This is something serious. If at all people who, of course, woke up and say that from August until 10 days we are going to protest because of bad governance, police brutality, corruption, and other, of course, issues in Nigeria, let them protest for that. Let them not be diverted by these, of course, by these people that have their selfish interests, that have their personal interests. Because if it is Russia leading these protests, of course, they have to put their leader. They have to put their leader. We saw, actually, we saw this, of course, in Burkina Faso immediately after this guy took over power. We saw a lot of people waving Russian flags. We saw it in Mali. We saw it in Niger. People waving out this. Actually, apparently in Mali, Mali has expelled Ukrainian, of course, diplomats in Russia, of course, in Mali. So, should we think that we are going to be, of course, diverted from what we need like that? People have championed their thing, their protests, so that they can get the desired change they want. Now confusion has come in. Why is it that Russia did not come at the eve of the beginning of these protests? It is after some days, like it is coming out. Yogerako.
First of all, the situation in Nigeria is not involving everyone. In Nigeria, or it's not involving in a big number. And of course, today the protests enter another dimension of day 5. And we saw Tinubu, of course, addressing, having a press release and addressing the public. Since this, of course, protest began, today is day 5. Now, like INNOSSETU says, we are seeing the Russian flags sworn by house tailors. So apparently, these flags have been sewn by the tailors, more especially the Hausa tailors in Niger. From Niger, remember, the western part, we have got a lot of tribes that are in different regions. Okay, INNOSSETU was asking, why do we see the Russian flags flying in Nigeria? Could it be? But yes, most of these flags that have been sent to Nigeria have been flags that have been made or tailored by the Hausa people. from Niger, and they sent these flags down to Nigeria to their fellow Hausa people. So the situation in Nigeria is more to do with the support of the Sahel. And we should also remember that Nigeria is, of course, in the western part of Africa. And like I said, that the protest in Nigeria is so much tribal. It has a specific involvement of specific tribes. So these the people from, or the Hausa people from Niger, who sent their kinfolk flags in the northern Nigeria, of course, to support. This is why Innocent said we did not see them having these flags at the beginning of this, but we have woken up to see them fly these flags today. So the brothers in the Sahel, of course, and Nigeria, of course, have decided to show their solidarity. And I think, I don't know, maybe they sat and discussed about this, like if you fly the Russian flags and all that, you may see change or something. I don't know, but we have Hausa people in different parts of East Africa, and mostly, of course, we saw the flag sighted in several demonstrations in the north and the federal capital of Abuja. That is today. So we saw the majority of the people in the northern part of Nigeria and some several parts in Abuja, of course, flying these Russian flags. Now we know that Nigeria has had been having a lot of ongoing disputes and crises. First of all, it was always the cattle issues. We have always had of cattle wrestling, and of course, we have seen issues between the Hausa and, of course, the Fulani people and the Yoruba. So there has been a lot of tribal disputes between these very people. But we know that Nigerian officials of Hausa talk, they are angry with the president Tinubu's treat to restore democracy following a coup in their country. Of course, they have launched an operation to bring about the collapse of Tinubu, who is Yoruba. Some of them apparently are from the southwest, using the ongoing protest as, using the ongoing protest. We know that when Tinubu came into power, there was a lot of disagreements. A lot of people were not contented with this. And there was a certain time where we saw a lot of massacre that took place between the people of the south. We saw a lot of massacre between the Fulani people and, of course, the Igbo, to the point that a lot of Igbos were relocating back. A lot of Igbo people were being killed from the other side, and others claimed they were cattle raiders and raiders and all that. But of course, um, and this whole struggle started way back during, of course, Muhammad Buhari season. And we saw that it's like all Nigerians felt like the Yoruba people and the Fulani are taking over the entire Nigeria, because I ran across different pictures of cattle crossing in the middle of the city using bridges and all that. And the Nigerians were like, this is when we started seeing words like a zoo, Nigeria being called a zoo and stuff like that by the Nigerians themselves. I think most of you, if I told you to follow a lot of political debates, you will not miss to come across a comment of zoo, Nigeria being called a zoo, because the government seemed everything looked like there is too much freedom for the animals than the human beings in the country as a whole. But of course, we saw that some protesters accosted soldiers outside their base in Kaduna, and fear grows that if the protests continue, the government could collapse, like what happened in, of course, Bangladesh on Monday. Uh, um, it is funny. Uh, it is very funny because Nigerian government has been one of the governments that has, more especially the military, that is known for being so hostile when it comes to the civilians. The civilians fear the military a lot. But then we saw a lot of young people marching to the military bases, asking the military officials to help and support their protest, and which is a sign to show that now people are not afraid anymore. They march to the military bases. It is unusual to see people marching to military bases or places where they know military officials gather. But this time around, they were asking them to come and join and help them to, of course, at least stage a coup, or to help them fight Tinubu, and so that Tinubu can step down. And of course, all that. But Tinubu was so very much comfortable. Today being the fifth day of this demonstration, Tinubu was comfortable. He was never seen addressing the public or showing any fear until the civilians started marching. Anyway, until the civilians started marching to meet the military bases, in asking the military officials to be in support of their coup. Yes, we saw some other people being shot dead and some others being stolen. Universities have been raided. Big, of course, national libraries have been attacked. The museums and all that. And of course, when such kind of things happen, we experience raids. I saw something very funny. I saw something very funny. Yeah. Um, of course, in the northern part, where the youth stormed in a library and they stole apparently everything apart from the books. And all, and some people, yeah, you would see them carrying the chairs, the laptops, and all that. I don't give a damn with the knowledge that is in that library. And, and everyone was making a joke of it, which seems so funny, of course. No one took even any book. No one had that time to pick any book like from the library. But of course, a lot of people are in support. But now, this particular issue, just like Innocent was questioning the Russia's flags, we have not seen the Russia's flags from day one, two, three, four, until today. In the third day of this demonstration, of course, people were the Hausa people were, of course, demonstrating in their languages, and they were calling the unity of the Hausa people in entire western part of Africa. I think this is why we saw the flags being moved from Niger to, of course, northern part of Nigeria, and these were, of course, flags that were tailored by the Hausa people. So I think the people in Niger were definitely trying to show the Hausa brothers and sisters in the northern part that we are here. We are yet to see what the Fulani people are up to. A lot of Yoruba people are not so much involving themselves in this, of course, conflict. Some of them are up against it, and being, of course, it's this is why, so to say, this is a little bit different from the situation that was happening in Kenya. So there is no connection with the situation in Nigeria with what happened back in Kenya, because both of the things they are using what we would all love to hear, but I think they are standing on quite a weak foundation. Because, like I always say, if at all we are to focus on particular tribes, if at all we are to focus on particular issues that are not involving the entire country, then we may not see a lot of people, of course, joining us to, of course, help or give in full support in this. This very particular demonstration or protest have not been so viral like the way they should, uh, given the, of course, the state Nigeria is in, given the exposure of Nigeria as a country. We expect to see this breaking over the entire social media platforms on Facebook and everywhere. Actually, it is not that loud because it has that weak point that we are seeing few tribes that are involving in this demonstration. First of all, the beginning of this demonstration, if it was about the cost of living and the hunger that is going on in Nigeria and everything that, of course, is affecting Nigeria, the jobless, youths and all that, I'm expecting to see a lot. And now we got a group of Yoruba people. Sorry, we've got a group of Igbo people who say the matters of Nigeria do not concern us because for a very long time, Nigeria has not been concerned with the issues that are affecting the Yoruba people, the Igbo people. And a lot of them were like, when we were talking about, Igbo people have had the so-called Messiah of theirs. And you remember that we have also had a civil war in Nigeria for some time where a lot of Igbo people have lost their lives. Okay. So when Igbo people were fighting, everyone was up against them. When they had, of course, when they wanted their issues being addressed by the government, everyone was against them to the point that the Igbo people wanted to break away from Nigeria. We want our independence as the Igbo and blah, blah. And that has been going on for a very long time. And you guys, I know you know this. Um, so when we had this, we are not seeing a lot of Igbo people involving, more especially in the Igbo region areas. We are not seeing a lot of them involving in this demonstration. More especially, we are seeing the Hausa. We are seeing a few people in Kanu. Demonstrating a lot. Others are up against. We don't want to see of course, the Fulani and all that. So if at all the demonstration has a bigger meaning, and then we see people having different involvement, then it becomes a little bit confusing. But yes, General Mosquito says, good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon, General Mosquito. How are you doing? We hope you're doing good. So, if this issue was to, of course, be, of course, we saw also the Nigerian, we saw the president pleading with the Nigerians to end the hardship protest. Of course, today. But the Nigerians said they are not going to end this. The Tinubu, of course, like I said, he had not addressed the public for all these days that we have had this demonstration. But again, he came out and pleaded with the people they should end this protest and for the, of course, the betterment of Nigeria and all that. But the people have refused to end this.
Putin is coming. Putin is coming. Putin is coming. He's coming.
I had the Nigerian saying Putin is coming. Putin
Yeah,
is coming.
most of these people have most of the most of the youths have been, of course, calling for intervention from Russia President Putin. And most of their, of course, posts are no longer talking about the bad governance in Nigeria. They're just calling upon Putin and all that. All right. We
Like,
know that
Hospital was asking what
was asking that what happened to the journalist, I guess, that was being arrested by the Nigerian police last week. Babuzizza gwe.
Banamuta.
Sibimanyi nze nogola asibira na ku mukutu ennaku zino. Nze amawulire gwagamba. Mhm. First of all, we saw that the youths, the first this whole demonstration started, I think, on Thursday. We saw the youth demand for better governance and an end to pressing issues such as food inflation, general inflation, and high living costs. And of course, the funniest thing is that today, like we are saying, we saw a display of Russian flags, which was highlighting the entire protest. So everyone was like, how did we get to this? How did we get to Russian flags flying in, of course, Nigeria? They did not see this coming. A lot of people thought, yeah, mpuli akiri kyewagabe muno ya Kenya yewagira kiyisibwa okwogera. But of course, this so everyone was so like, how did we get to these flags? And the protesters demanding for Putin's intervention. Of course, this reflects the growing discontent among Nigerians who flee their grievances, okay, not being addressed by their own government led by President Bola Tinubu. We see that, of course, protests resumed in Kano State, attracting the significant number of participants. Frustrated residents took to the streets, demanding improved governance and an end to pressing issues. And of course, they were calling Putin to come and intervene. Others say that you have helped Niger. We have seen your work in Mali. It is crazy. We've seen how you've helped the people of course, Burkina Faso. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why we are having this problem. Okay, to me, this issue is becoming more. Tay, I'm sorry, let me use a little my language to speak to innocent. Singa Bobi Wine yali teyagenda eri kuwagira opponent ba Russia singa naye fulaga zaawanika. But netasobola kikola. Mpozi tunafulayo mulala n'akikola. Naye kati ye omutaka naye agamba nasuula. Singa kati ku fulaga ya Russia nange kwempanika. But anyway, sorry about that. We were talking a little bit in our language about something very sensitive here. But now you can understand. Yes, I appreciate the willingness of the Hausa people from Niger coming together to support their fellow Hausas in Nigeria, because now this is the unity we've been talking about. Unfortunately, they are sending them, of course, these Russian flags. Like, they are trying to say, we cannot help you, but Russia can. Okay, and we know very well that Russia wants to exist in Africa. And at some point, we may even look at these houses. But of course, when there are a lot of underground Russian ambassadors bringing this. So I guess Russia is also taking advantage of the situations in Africa. Russia is taking advantage. This protest that is, of course, ongoing in Nigeria may seem as a child's play, but this is how things start. Nigeria has a record of civil wars within the country. Nigeria has experienced a lot of violence and within the country. Nigerians have a different way of how they take things. When we saw issues of, let me say, Kenya, when Kenya had a demo, this protest and all that, blah, blah, We did not see particular tribes coming out probably to harm others. We did not see, and I'm telling you, we may see this happening because, first of all, when we talk about the word nation, we were expecting the entire Nigeria to be involved in this. We're expecting to see the northern, the southern, the western, and the eastern plus the central working together to bring out this. And now it is turning to a particular. This is why whenever you are watching the news, you're gonna hear word, you're gonna hear a country, sorry, you're gonna hear cities like Kanu, you're gonna hear parts like the northern part of Nigeria. You're not gonna hear some other parts of Nigeria, and which is just not right. And at the end of the day, like of course today we saw some other people trying to of course blame other Nigerians for having not involved themselves. They were saying you have left this for us to involve, and others were like, when we were being mistreated by the Yoruba, they always add that word, President Ibrahim. Sorry, the Yoruba president, of course. Why were you at? I'm sorry to mention Ibrahim. I'm used to saying Ibrahim. Sorry. And right now, of course, Tinubu is also the other time it was Buhari. Tinubu is also a Yoruba. Buhari was also a Yoruba. And at that time, we had issues. Yeah, you are all complaining because definitely the person in power is a Yoruba and all that. So it turned to be more of tribal. And now that how we are seeing the northern part and Kanu, of course, coming out, the majority of the people are from the northern part, and those are the Hausa people. And now we are seeing others, like the Igbo people said, when we are demonstrating about bad governance, everyone was up against the Igbo. Now you want us to involve. But this is something that concerns everyone. This is something that concerns Nigeria as a whole, because we have not seen price fluctuation in different places. The food and the cost of living, the feeding, inflation, and of course, the expensive life is affecting apparently everyone in Nigeria. It has got nothing to do with your tribe, where you come from, and whatever it is that we are seeing being displayed right now. We really I really don't know what is going to happen tomorrow and tomorrow next, but it's like the youths who are protesting have not shown us any sign of course stepping down or ending this protest, despite the Nigerian president, of course, Tinubu addressing them, and of course letting the country know that he has heard them loud and clear. And of course, he's going to address the issues and make sure that he responds to the crying of his people in his country. The youth also say they are not so contented with his words, because everyone has been promising and not delivering. And I also saw some posts that were like, you didn't, we do not, this is not, it is not us taking lead of the government. So I also saw a post where some of them were saying it is not that everything they should come on the streets. The government should take action before people get hungry. And of course, we know the situation of these standards of living, inflation, and all this have not only begun during the regime of Tinubu. These things have been there with Buhari. I remember a time where we had a lot of Nigerians trying to sing songs. Some of you came across different songs where some people had saucepans that were empty with no food. A lot actually, and this has been going on in Nigeria for a very long time. So it's not something that Tinubu can wake up and just guarantee that is going to give the Nigerians, because they have been experiencing this for a very, very long time. All right. So people need assurance. The Nigerians need assurance. They need to be assured that if we step out of this street, then we're going to see something better. First of all, with them, it's not about the laws that they make in the government or in the parliament, because, first of all, they say the parliament hardly addresses the issues that concern the Nigerian citizen. It's always talking about the economy, it's always talking about the oil businesses and all that, which favors probably the big people in the country. So most of the Nigerians say we hardly see our government or the parliament talking about issues that are concerning us, the citizens. And now it's not going to be the first time, or it's not going to be the time where they're going to be having these issues. Nigeria as a country has experienced a lot of conflicts. Like I said, starting from tribal conflicts, and the tribalism it's deeper in Nigeria too. It's deeper actually. That there is differences in employment. There is still where you find that specific people are doing certain specific kind of jobs, and some of them cannot be allowed to be. We don't have division of employment equally, or equal division of employment within the tribes in Nigeria, where you'll find that we have got a lot of police officers who are Yorubas. We don't have a lot of Igbo police officers. And then you realize that most of the Igbos are doing businesses. Most of them even have not been so much introduced to education. Most of them have not had that chance to education, and most of them are business people. Yeah, they are big business people, by the way. You find some of them running big own big car businesses and spare parts, a lot. But most of the Igbo people have not had access to education in Nigeria than like others. And so you can understand that the difference of office work and other levels of employment that are specifically given to a certain kind of tribe. Now, this is what has been going on in Nigeria. Recently, we had a bit of a conflict. Now, let me not call it a bit, because when it involves a loss of people and property, this is something big to an individual. I remember there was a certain time where we saw basically some other Nigerians being forced to move from Lagos. They were being asked by the Yorubas in Lagos to move from Lagos to go back to their area. And these, most of the building, by the way, in most of the big buildings and the big businesses in Lagos have been owned by the Igbo people. Now, the Igbo people, these people have a tendency, when they come and settle in a place, they tend to develop that place more than their own home. And we have, and by the way, most of them are scattered almost everywhere in Nigeria. There are very many Igbo people in the northern part. They are almost everywhere in Nigeria. Because for them, they're business people. They go where business is. Some of them don't know even how to read and write, but they know how to count money. And Igbo people actually are good at business. So there was a time when we had that argument between the people in Nigeria, and a lot of people were like, the Igbo people should go back to their region. So some of them wanted to take their houses. Now you can imagine a country that is waking up to decide that someone should not stay in this area, yet you live in the same country, a country that has freedom to movement, freedom of settlement, as long as you legally own that place. Now you can imagine how Nigeria is. And right now, we are seeing other people trying to, of course, uh, um, wash their hands from these protests. Like when we need everyone, no one is always around. When we talk about what we're going through in the hands of the government, no one is, of course, supporting us. So they still have that issue that they feel like they have not been. Some other tribes feel like they have not been supported for a very long time now. There's no need for them to come, and some of them are like, even if we come, we are not going to, of course, get help because nobody cares about us, and that. So and this is why basically this whole thing is so much in the northern part of Nigeria. Of course, this is why we are seeing the biggest population of people involving in this protest are the Hausa people. Yeah, I've come across some videos. People be generalizing this Nigerian. People being, but people should understand that Nigeria is a country that consists a lot of tribes, a lot of languages, and even when you are to look at, okay, when we saw the situation in when we saw the situation, of course, in Kenya, it was in Nairobi. It was in the capital of Kenya, and this time around has not been in Lagos. We saw few demonstration, and there were still demonstrations that were carried by these particular people, but the big demonstrations have been in the northern part with the Hausa people, and some of them some other people are speculating that this is more than what the government is talking about. We have had a lot of killings, really. I remember, guys, I don't know, we have remember that time when the Ambazonia war broke out in Cameroon. We also saw a lot of people. We also saw a lot of killings in Nigeria. Remember, we have got Fulani, the Fulani speaking tribe, the Fulani speaking people in Nigeria also extended in some parts of Cameroon. Yeah, so we saw a lot. We even saw this affected some parts of Nigeria. And it is I don't know how to explain the existence of sorry, I don't know how to explain how other Africans are cohabiting or coexisting with each other, because at times it is very absurd, and we have a little we lack knowledge that it does not matter the tribe we speak, because I've seen a lot of African countries, really it is important for them to identify themselves with those particular tribes, and they cause wrangles, and you go ahead and kill other innocent people because they don't speak your tribe. Now we had a huge massacre of very many people in Nigeria, and it was said that as a particular group of people went and of course killed the cattle or cows of the Fulanis, okay, and these other people were farmers. The excuse both the angry parties said was like, we are farmers, the cattle is coming in our farmland, and they are eating all our they are eating all our farm plants and all that, and the government is not listening. So for a long time the farmers talked to the government, and the government did not care. So these farmers were so angry because they were making losses. Cattle was feeding on their food, and the plants they have, of course, planted. And then they went ahead and killed cattle. The cattle were not even amounting to 10. But like you decided, so let's kill some so that they can know we are also mad, right? My dear, from that incident, Nigeria lost like 1,000 of people. The Fulani people who had the cattle at that time raided each family. They burnt houses down. You will find a family which, of course, consists of like 12 people dying. They burnt the entire village. It was Buhari's regime at that time. And everyone was like, how can we have such a wild situation in the country? And even the president does not address such an issue. And like I said, this is why you guys, you hear always Nigeria saying Nigeria is a zoo. Is a zoo. Nigeria doesn't have wild animals as such, but they used to call it a zoo because they felt like the government cared a lot for these particular animals than the people. So that's why they're saying Nigeria is a country for the zoo. When such an incident happens, when such an incident happens, which involves loss of human life, this is something that goes to the next level. Actually, this is something that needs immediate attention. Now, from these Fulani people killing these others, and then we started seeing people putting roadblocks on the road, where whenever they could see that you look like a Fulani as well, you get killed. That people started supporting on Facebook and all social media, kill them, they have killed your families, kill them. So you could see a lot of ignorance and a little understanding. And this was called by the government that did not really take action when it needed. Move it. It needed to take that quick action, but it did not. It neglected the issues. Nigeria for a very long time has been neglecting the issues that are concerning its people. And even the government itself has been so segregative in its response to issues. I recall there is also another situation that was just so unbelievable. Okay, there is also another situation that was so unbelievable, where we saw a lot of car hijackers coming to another part of Nigeria, hijacking people with the cars, killing them, not taking anything. They write notes, all right, we don't want you in Nigeria. Who gave them the audacity? Why don't you want? And those are people who also say we are Nigerians, we are not going anywhere. It's not like in South Africa where South Africans are killing other Africans coming. In Nigeria, Nigerians kill Nigerians, but they kill you because you don't speak the same tribe. They hate you because you don't speak the same tribe. All right. And the tribal difference is so huge. It goes even to the celebrities, to the artists. Someone say, I'm not going to support that. He's not of this tribe. We are not going to support this one who is not of our tribe, and so on. So the tribal difference now, if this demonstration or this protest had little bit of unity, like it had, because when I heard they're gonna have a protest, of course, aiming to end the national, bad governance. Of course, when something is national, it should involve everyone at the corner of that country or the area, but not everyone is involved. And then let's wait and see. Let's wait really and see how this protest goes. And of course, presidents always come address the issues. In Africa, it's all about you talking and letting people know probably how you think. Ooh, the skies are gray. It's threatening terrain. INNOSSETU, say something. Let me let INNOSSETU say something as I plug in the power. Hola, go. Now we be Sorry. Yankube singenda kudduka muntu.
I get push up on the anything that drop, you got to take it down
Currently, I'm sorry to ask this. Is this really protesting to some people, or Uh, they are just enjoying. General Mosquito just said here from YouTube. He says that Maria said nobody wants to see this man is that they are underwear. So I'm also asking myself, General Mosquito, is this really ending bad governance, or people are just enjoying? They're using this as a chance, to of course to show up or to.
Some requests for those protesters that they should provide their details so that we can know their leaders. We can know the route that they will follow. But at the end of the day, we just start seeing them trying to hijack, trying to attack the government house. You have seen how they have destroyed our armor car. You have seen how. Look at it. Come, look at it. Look at it now. Look at it. We have arrested some of them now. We have arrested some of them.
The back body TV, body fridge, the commodity compressor, everything that woman is using to live a house. They pack everything, including shoes for them, they pack. They can stack my bag, remove my bag that I'm using to put my clothes. Put the clothes, carry some clothes, put inside. Pack the kaya inside my box, they carry it around.
When we were moving towards the city, we just saw policemen from nowhere with tear gas and the scale. Because even when we were here, we were with policemen, but it was surprise to us that when we were moving towards the direction of the town into the city, we saw policemen from nowhere with tear gas. They scare us away with tear gas, and they was even shooting on the air. So that was why that scared everybody away, and everybody run for their life.
They introduced that national anthem. The one where they said that we do wrong. I didn't say I introduce them, Gary go cheap. I didn't say I say introduce them, petrol price will come down.
I'm only excited faith that what we are doing right now would yield positive results. But I cannot categorically say that the government will listen, but will definitely bring them to their knees.
You get Igbo, you get Calabar, you get nobody people won't tire you. If you don't tire you, if you don't say let me sit.
As at now, in some place of the north, law and order was breached. For this thing to get to the state of jeopardy or there will be an anarchy in the land, the presidency, which is Bola Ahmed Tinubu, should address the nation.
That àgbàdo is it ẹ̀wà or àgbàdo? Both ẹ̀wà and àgbàdo can you buy it? Turn rice, they turn rice inside another sack. We don't need government of palliative.
Even I'm the only one here protesting here, I'm not bothered. As far as the protests continue, I'm not bothered. I'm not worried, and I believe that Nigerians will come out and protest as well. I'm not the only one feeling the pains. Many Nigerians are feeling the same pains. So I believe they will come out with time. They will come out and protest. I've been here since after 7. I don't care. I will be here till midnight.
That's why she said.
And some of us are scared because of what happened yesterday, the live shooting. And for those, some of the policemen actually chased us to the bushes, like all these trees and these mountains around. Some of our colleagues, let me say my brothers, because they're actually my brothers, we are there all through that yesterday till 7 p.m. because of what the police did to us.
Let's go now. Come on. Leave.
Yeah, you saw the government was came here to attack me. Yeah, you saw them. I tried to run to safety in front of the policemen. That tells you that the policemen are up. They are not on their game. And it's a shame. Why do we have loads of policemen here? But police personnel here and they are not ready to safeguard our life.
We are going nowhere. What if Baba talk this morning? Baba talk nonsense. Nonsense.
Seen it. You have seen it. You have seen it. The IMN members have hijacked this. They are part of this protest, and that is what we have noticed. That is why we are drawing the attention of the public, since that some bad elements are trying to hijack this protest. The Inspector General of Police clearly make some requests for those protesters that they should provide their details so that we can know their leaders, we can know the route that they will follow. But at the end of the day, we just start seeing them trying to hijack, trying to attack the government house. You have seen how they have destroyed our armor car. You have seen how, look at it, come, look at it now, look at it. We have arrested some of them now. We have arrested some of them.
So apparently, that is what is happening in Nigeria. But of course, what for me, of course, I'm asking from my Nigerian, of course, brothers and sisters, it's like they shouldn't involve, of course, these other parties, like the issue, uh, the issue of of course, of Russia. Let's fight, of course, on the real cause. Let's forget about, of course, these international players that are having their own, of course, their own intentions about, of course, the protests of course, that are going on. Let's do our own thing. Let's not be, of course, let's not be influenced by anyone. If at all we want, of course, to achieve something at the end of these protests. Otherwise, if we allow anybody, of course, to influence us in these protests in Africa, we are not going to see any change. We are not going to see change at the end of it. Trust me or not, we are not going to see any change. So, of course, what I call to my fellow, of course, brothers and sisters in Nigeria is not to allow anyone them when they are doing what is purpose. They also watch this and see. So most of these videos you have shared, they are from different parts of Nigeria. It's not like they're happening in, of course, in Abuja, but they are different parts So if you can look, there are different parts of course, of all these, of course, footages that have been captured for protesters within Nigeria. So um yeah, when we look at the factors these people, of course, are considering to have been, of course, taken them to do protesting, there are factors. Looking at the fuel, the people are hungry, feel like the food is expensive, like housing is expensive, water is expensive in Nigeria.
Oh, say Maria and Seto, when they went down. Maria's here. I think Maria's here.
Yeah, I'm here.
And Seto went down.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now. You're going in and out.
Mm,
How are you this weekend? How you
and
how you
it's
doing this?
raining here.
Oh, that's probably why.
I'm
Oh, that's
fine.
probably why your internet's so bad. Yeah, well check your phone. You didn't respond when I paid you, so you should have some money. Have to dry off with. But I lost Maria again. Raining. What's going on, dear mosquito? I don't know what they're talking about, so I can't add to the discussion. I have no
All
idea what
right.
the hell they're talking about.
Sorry?
I was telling you, general, I don't know what you guys are talking about, so I can't
You
add to the discussion.
okay. You know it's raining here. Hmm. Let me try to increase the volume. My volume is all up. Keith, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm fine. We are talking about the protests in Nigeria.
Oh, okay.
What have you got to say about the situation?
I'll say it's long overdue. Shout to the youth for not being scared and understand how bad Africa has been set up. All African countries are the same. They're all corrupt. They're all created by the
Mm,
Europeans. And so good for them to finally stand
mm,
up for the rights, not be scared. Once you get over your fear, you're gonna have to take down all these African despotic countries, especially like a Uganda. Uganda's in
mm,
power because they use the 70s listening to every opposition leader's phone, the computers, all set up through China and the WEF, the World Economic Forum.
mm,
So most of these countries have spy agencies to make sure these despots stay in power, to make sure they stay in power. So whenever
mm,
you try to orchestrate a uprising against them, all your avenues of communications are being listened to, so they can stop the protests. But
mm,
you know, Nigeria is too damn big, with too many people don't even have smartphones, so they was able to do it on the street level and bring everybody up because the corruption and the poverty is now finally overwhelming that they say, "Oh, I'd rather die." Once you get to the point where you understand you rather die than live in shit, then you can topple every government in
mm.
Africa.
True. So today, of course, marks the fifth day during the protest. But today we woke up to see the Hausa people in the northern part of Nigeria flying the of course the Russian flag, and they were calling upon Russia or the president of Russia, Putin, to come and intervene in the situation.
Wow.
And of course,
Wow.
this was a surprise because since this them protests we have not seen them flying these Russian flags. And
I know
today
that's why I'm surprised because Nigeria is a Western puppet and an enemy of Russia. So I'm surprised that the Hausa, who are really who the Europeans put in power when they supposedly left, that they're now flying the Russian flag. That
Mhm.
looks absolutely crazy to Tinubu. he's a
Aha.
he, he
Now
he's a Western puppet. Go ahead.
Uh-huh. So they've been flying the Russian. Remember, we saw the Nigerian president, of course, having a speech and addressing the public. He accepted and, of course, apologized and promised that he's going to take this matter and, of course, respond to it as quick as possible. And we thought the Nigerians are going to withdraw. The next thing we saw was them flying these flags. And a very big number of them. But remember, we have we but remember we have Hausas in Niger. We have a tribe, a Hausa tribe
Of
people
course,
in
they're,
Niger. And I
they're all
remember,
they're all over African countries. They're in Nigeria, they're in Mali, they're in Burkina Faso, they're in Guinea, they're in Gambia. I
uh-huh,
think also in I think they're also in South Sudan and in Senegal. So they're everywhere.
uh-huh. So we saw during this protest, actually on the third day, we saw the Hausas rising, of course, and asking other Hausas to join their protests. And of course, and also the people from Niger, the Hausa people from Niger. Remember, Niger is close to Nigeria. They responded, and some of them were like, "We are
It's
together
next door.
with you." But it is believed that the Hausas from Niger are the one who, of course, threw these Russian flags. They tailored the Russian flags and they moved them to Nigeria, to the northern part at that time.
Yeah,
And
that's why I told you there was never going to be any war
because
with
we
Nigeria
saw a lot
against
of.
Niger. There was never going to be a war with Nigeria against Niger because they're the same
Mm,
people on that northern border with
mm,
Niger. They weren't going to invade no Niger and
mm,
kill their own people. Not for the white man. They weren't going to do it. So
mm.
shout out to the Nigerians going down to Nigeria and causing havoc with that Russian flag. That's got to be that's got to be driving the
Mm,
damn Nigerian government crazy, and and the white people in America
mm.
crazy. I love it.
We know, we we are this has hit everyone by surprise. We did not expect to see Nigerian people responding the way they did today, and the demonstration is actually still ongoing. They don't see there is no sign of them, of course, stepping down and
Why would they?
agreeing with.
Why would they stop it? The country's corrupt.
Mhm,
You make some dumb speeches not gonna stop the corruption. So why would I stop
mm,
until I overthrow you? Country's gotta be completely overhauled. It's corrupt from top to bottom.
mm. So we for a very long time Nigerians have been so afraid of their military forces. They have had a big
Of course.
respect with their military, but this time round we saw a group of youths marching to the military bases,
And that once
and
you
for
get is
them
that
they were
once you get over your fear, once you get over your fear,
and
Maria, you're the
oh,
majority. There's no military that can stop an overwhelming population. Nigerian youth are 100 million. There's no 100 million army big enough to stop the Nigerian youth. As soon as the Ugandans understand that and get organized, there's no military that Museveni can put up that can stop the Ugandan youth. But they haven't understood that yet. They're not scared. They're not they're not angry enough yet. Once they get it, people in Nigeria, like, I'd rather die than live like this. So, these they got so bad in Nigeria, Maria, they got nothing else to lose. So, so forget all that being scared. Shit.
mm,
Now that they now realize they are the power. See, once like Kenya
mm,
and Nigeria, once you realize you are the real power, not these despots of the military, the people are the power. Once you realize that, Maria, there's no going back. There's no going
True.
back once you realize that. Once you get that information, there's no going back.
True. They were marching and they were requesting the military to join them because some of them had posts like, "We are brothers. We need to. We are
Some,
requesting you
some,
to protect us and bring change." And
some,
a lot of
some of the
people are like,
some of the police had joined the protest. Not, I don't know about the military, but some of the
uh-huh.
police have joined the protest, Maria. Some of the police have
Yes,
joined it.
yes. And now everyone was like, we might see these people joining because if it was to be the other old Nigeria, we would see them shooting back at the civilians, but they were all standing. They seemed so touched with what the youths were demanding, you know. And a lot of people are like, could they try to help or join this protest cause? People did not, everyone, when the youths were marching to of course the military bases, everyone was like they're going to be killed, they're going to be shot dead and stuff, but they
You
came
can't
back and with
you
no
can't kill
crying
all of them.
what. Huh?
You can't kill all of them, Maria. Told you, didn't
Mm,
kill it. They killed a few of them. Few Nigerians lost their life, but the majority you can't kill. They'll
yes,
overwhelm you and they'll take it over. So the military knows they're in an unattainable situation. You got millions out in the streets all over Nigeria. You cannot fight that. There's no
true.
military big enough to fight that.
Mm.
So
So anyway, I hope, like I was trying to say, Nigeria, I know every African country is going through a lot right now. We have experienced bad governance for a very, very long time. Nigeria shouldn't be in a position it is right now, given its history, because Nigeria has had a greater history. And if at all we are to mention one of the greatest countries on the continent, Nigeria is supposed to be among them, definitely. But unfortunately, I personally cannot mention it to be among because it has lost all the credits. And this is because of
of course.
the situation. They have failed to manage their resources. It is one of the country that was producing, oil on a very large, scale. All right. And Nigeria has lost all the credit that it had, to the point that if we talk about the Nigerian naira, even Kenya is almost kicking it down. Right? So, what is the essence of such a country having all those great minerals, but only the minerals are being exploited by a few individuals, and of course, being taken by the Western countries who are in support of the current different governments that have been coming in power on different stages?
They've been putting them in power. Now remember, Maria, the oil hasn't changed. They still got it oil, but like you said, it goes to benefit the Europeans, not the Africans, because they put their puppets in to make sure that oil benefits them, not the people. So you're right, because Nigeria is richer than any Middle East country or the Northern African country as far as oil. So why are they poor? Because they don't control none of the oil. That's why. So you're right.
Mm. So we've I'm sorry, it's just so absurd. But for us to see Africa having a lot but getting little, not even little, getting nothing from what it has, it is a huge disappointment. In Nigeria, it is one of the countries that has got a lot of professionals. But I will tell you, this is the country where apparently everyone who has money, when they fall sick, they have to fly abroad for treatment. These are people who have to take everyone who has money has to take their children abroad for
because they built
treatment,
big,
for education.
because they built no infrastructure in the country, Maria. There's no decent
Yes.
infrastructure built for the people. So since they got the money, say, well, we'll fly outside the country, but nothing's been built that that you that you would do it there, and that's the sad fact. And that's Africa as a whole, except for South Africa. Since you got so many white people that stay in South Africa has no people in South Africa don't have to fly outside of South Africa. They can get all that shit done there because it was built there. But every other African country wasn't shit built. It was all taken out, everything stolen.
So if we see a lot of people recently, of course, before Buhari stepped down, Buhari when Buhari fell sick, of course, we saw him being flown outside Nigeria, and he spent a lot of the time in the UK. Being taken outside of Nigeria and all that, which of course caused a lot of commotion. There is, like, we have seen such kind of we have seen a lot of hypocrisy, more especially when it gets to the Western countries, and of course, the way and what they claim they feel towards Africa. We have had bad leaders actually being in power for a very long time, but at the end of the day, these are people who are being
That's
embraced.
that's on
um
purpose.
they are being embraced by these other people who claim that we are here for Africa, we care for you, you are going through a lot. Why should you allow a president who has put a lot, who has made a lot, its citizens, their citizens, to go through a lot in their own country, and and they have not catered for, of course, the needs of the people, and you give them visas to come to one of your expensive hospitals in case they are sick and all that. This all comes with a certain bill or need, and usually this is the blood that a lot of innocent Africans are shedding. you know a lot of issues in Nigeria have not been addressed. Nigeria has experienced of course, a chain of floods. The food prices are very high. Farmers are experiencing floods, and the food cannot be
Yeah,
distributed
yeah,
equally to the people.
they're not growing the food that they need, and that's because of what the IMF, and the World Bank, and them fake loans that they were forced to take that impoverishes African countries and make them upholding to the West. The same way they did in Kenya, same way they do everywhere. That's why Ibram Toure said, "Nah, I don't need none of your loans. You keep that shit."
True.
Everybody knows the scam. It's to get your country so they can steal your resources.
True. That is the situation. Nigeria is a very it's a very big country. It's a very big country that needs, you cannot compare Nigeria's demands to some of the countries. First of all, it's a big country with a very huge population, and issues are not a lot of issues are not addressed to the Nigerian, to Nigeria as a whole and the citizens. There is little, and actually, at times, maybe this is why we are seeing Nigerians everywhere in the world.
You think exactly right, Maria. You think exactly. That's why you see them even on the moon.
True, Keith, because who would not love to stay home? Why would they? why would I not love to stay back home? But when home is no longer home, then you have to find for, you
All
have to
right.
look for a better place. And I
You
think this
find
is why
you find
Nigerians
you
are
find
able
so Maria, you find the Nigerians in Uganda, in Kenya, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Angola, America, England, Germany, France, the Netherlands, Mexico. You find Nigerians even in Brazil. Even in Brazil. I was like, damn, they got Nigerians in Brazil? Yep. God damn.
yeah, they're about to go to Antarctica.
You found them too, selling ice cream.
And actually, it is so absurd, but I now realize the reason why, these people are not safe at home. There is no a feel of future. Can you imagine there are places that even the president has
Exactly.
never reached to? He doesn't even know what happens in
Yeah.
those particular areas.
Yeah.
And then Nigeria has also experienced affairs of tribalism to the point that some other tribes
Shoot.
don't
Hey, the
identify themselves
tribalism,
as Nigeria.
war, not just tribalism, tribal war.
Tribal wars, yeah, true. True. And this
Yeah.
and this is still ongoing because this has never ended. I remember there was a certain time where we saw Fulanis killing each other and all that. This has never ended. Now, if you look at such a big country filled with the strong men and women, vibrant young youths, and of course, people who are exposed, but they can not come together to have one goal. All right, then it is very absurd. When we saw this protest, like I was saying at the beginning of this discussion, I was expecting to see everyone touched because this is the situation that is affecting apparently everyone in Nigeria. But of course, a lot of people are like, nah, we are not involving ourselves in this. Last time we went through a lot and nobody cared to mind and all that and so on and so forth. So we need that unity. We don't need to see the tribal wars. And actually, there are a few speculations that we may experience another phase of tribal wars in Nigeria or a civil war. Because a lot of people are saying that most of the people involving themselves, the biggest population involving themselves in this are the Hausa people. And then these Hausa people are, of course, against the Yoruba. And then we may experience a huge disagreement, which, of course, may lead to another war that we may see, of course, coming forth in Nigeria. So it is very weird. And right now, we thought this is a national demonstration that calls upon all Nigerians from all work spheres and from all angles. But again, we are seeing like this is being pointed to a certain tribe, because like when you follow the social media debates and different platforms and comments, you will see that a lot of Igbos are of course stepping away from this demonstration. Most of them are
Yeah.
like, we are not involving ourselves in this. We Igbos are not. All right, this is something that is concerning the entire Nigeria. But we have not seen a
Exactly.
big population of Igbo people involving in this. We are not seeing a huge number of Yoruba people involving in this. And the major people that are taking lead in this are actually Hausa in the northern part. Because those ones we saw a huge turn up of the Hausa people in the northern part. And then we saw a few people in Abuja, Kanu, and other small cities. We saw a few, a small number. of people turning out. And the Igbo people totally withdrew from this. And then other Yoruba people are like, this is tribal. You are just attacking Tinubu because he's a Yoruba
Wow.
man.
Wow.
Now,
No. I haven't heard that yet, Maria. Come on. For real?
oh
I've
please,
seen.
Keith,
No,
this is
Maria.
this
Wow.
this is very disappointing. And
Wow. Hold on,
actually,
Maria. I haven't seen that yet. Hold on. Wow. That is disappointing because I seen Lagos with it. That's the Yoruba stronghold. I seen them protesting. I seen them
yeah,
in Port Harcourt.
in
That's the Ibu part of the country. I seen them all protesting. I haven't seen that tribalism like you're saying. Hopefully not. Hopefully that's on a
Yoruba,
small scale.
kids in Lagos, actually, Lagos is the capital city of Nigeria. Yes, one of the major because it has many. But if you look at Lagos itself, it does not, in the capital, there are not many Yoruba people. We have got a lot of Igbo people
I
there
know.
because Igbo are
I
business people.
I
And then
know.
we
I
have
know
got
because they business. The
outside.
Igbos are yeah, the Igbos are business. They stretch out throughout Nigeria. It's not many Yoruba
Yes,
up there. Yoruba are mostly in the southern part
yes.
of Nigeria. But I've seen them protesting too. So I don't know.
Yeah, but given the total number of the
Mhm.
protesters, we would expect to see Lagos taking the biggest number of
Yeah,
people protesting.
I,
But the
oh, they're
number
not.
wasn't as
They're
big
not.
as those in the northern part.
Oh shit! I didn't know that.
The number wasn't as huge as those in the northern part. And it is in the northern part where we saw people march with the
Wow,
Russian flags. All
wow.
right.
It's a if
So
if this
we
goes
only
if this
saw
go
a
if this
group of
goes
few people.
if this goes tribal if this goes tribal, Maria, it's gonna fail.
Mm,
This goes tribal, they're gonna fail. Kenya learned
mm,
to get rid of put down the tribal shit. If these morons in Nigeria haven't learned to get rid of the tribal shit, talking about he's a Yoruba man, all that old dumb shit, it's gonna
mm.
fail. You'll be back in impoverished and then starved and fucked up over and over again because you're too ignorant to know this is bigger than your stupid ass tribe.
True, true. I think we Kid mom says hi.
Okay, your mother said hi. I haven't seen her in a long time. Hopefully she's well.
Yeah,
She's good.
yeah, she okay. She has also said it has been long since she heard your voice. Yeah.
I know it's been a long time since I've seen her, since I heard her. So hopefully she's good and doing okay.
She's okay.
All right.
She's
She's probably
okay.
she's probably happy to be back in the village out of Kampala. I'm out of that place.
We are doing some farming here. It's rainy season.
Well, that's good. That's good. You're doing farming. That's great. Shoot, that's not hell. That's great. What are you guys farming anyway? I can not to go away from the discussion. What you guys farming, Maria? What kind of vegetables and fruits are you guys farming?
The no now the no the fruits are just these all the trees that always, of course, yield every season. But now we are planting groundnuts and
Okay,
uh, green peppers, bell peppers, carrots, cucumber, cabbages.
sounds
Yeah,
good.
but it's season of almost everything. So what you desire is what you plant.
Okay, that's great. So, okay, so once you plant it all, when you guys take that back to Kampala with you, or you guys just gonna stay out there on the out there in the village for a couple years or so?
No, when of course we finish planting and the land is cleared and we planted everything, then I go back to Kampala. Then when it's time for weeding, we come back as a family. We do
Cool.
the weeding and then you go back. And when it is harvesting time, they bring me some. They send us some. Those who are in
Well,
Kampala, of course, you receive some and so on. Because
that's awesome.
so you cannot stay here waiting for them to yield because they some take 3 months, some take 4. So it is like onions, they take 3 months,
That's
and
good.
like
That's
the
good.
groundnuts, of
That's
course,
that's awesome. At least you got real food and not the GMO stuff. That's awesome that you guys are still, you guys are in the city a lot of times. You're still attached to the land back in the village where you go back and forth and till the land and you can pass on those farming traditions to the next generation. That's,
Yes, and
that's
for us
awesome.
actually, we don't spray. We don't spray our plants. We don't use those
The
weeds, whatever.
herbicides and
Yeah,
pesticides. Yeah.
we don't, and that's why whenever it is planting season, or me, my brothers, and everyone of our family, you have to calm down because it needs a lot of manual labor. You need to
Well,
involve physically. You have to
of
weed.
course.
You cannot use chemicals to take away the weed. So you use your hands, you weed, plant, everything is
That's
manually.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it is a little bit tiresome, but
Of course, because
when you are
farming,
eating,
farming is hard work, Maria, but it's worth it because you guys get to eat the fruits of your labor. You guys get
true.
to enjoy the fruits of your labor. So understand, and you know where a lot of your food's coming from. So it's actually a beautiful thing. I wish I had that in America, but I don't. I wish I had some land I could do that with, you know, in the country. But hell, I don't
Yeah,
know how to fucking farm no more. I lost all that shit. My family lost
sorry.
farming.
Why?
Yeah,
What happened to your land?
probably was sold before I was even born.
Oh,
Or stolen. You know, white people steal your land, take your land and they steal it.
yeah,
A lot of
yeah,
land lot of land that black people had coming out of slavery was stolen from them. So a
yeah,
lot of that land was stolen. So, so the traditions, sad enough, you just don't have them anymore unless you go back and start buy some land again and learn how to
mm,
farm again. I think every
mm.
human being should know how to grow food.
Growing food is enjoyable. It's something, for you to plant something, you see it grow and you take care of it. It is all
Yeah,
right. It is a little bit tiring, but again, it gives you that passion. I don't know.
yeah,
Maybe, I don't know how other people feel about it, but it's usually nice. First of all, when we come down here, there is a way it unites us. You
yeah,
go as the whole family, my brothers, they come with their kids, and and you see that you've united all of you in the farm. You plant, and when it's harvesting time, yeah, you celebrate because you have plenty of food. Then you
yeah,
don't have to go to grocery stores to buy food.
yeah. That's awesome. That's a tradition you guys should be very proud of. Just be proud that your mom has raised you that way. You guys have
Mm.
farming. Like I said, I don't know how to farm shit.
Oh, sorry. Now it is a season of fruits. We have got mango, we have got jackfruits, we have got pawpaws, we have
Wow.
oranges. Oh god, what else? We have like plenty. It's season for
Wow.
watermelon,
Wow.
got
That's
sugar
got,
canes.
I'm jealous. I'm
So if
jealous.
you're going, if you have to visit us one day.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
you're going to
Yeah.
the
I
farm,
should I should I should be there next year. I plan to come to Kenya, Uganda
please,
next summer.
yeah,
Tell your mother to save me a place, to save me a
I'm
big watermelon.
telling her. She just heard your voice and she was like, "Ah, Maria, it has been long since I had Kivi's voice." I said, "Yeah," but when
Yeah.
she came to beep, she couldn't see your face.
Yeah. Tell her yeah. Tell her to save me a big I know she was able to turn my camera on. Tell her
You
tell
will
her
see her
tell
later.
yeah, tell her to search tell her to get me a big watermelon.
I will. I'll tell her to come over. So yeah, but anyway, just come. When you come down here, there is no need of you renting luxurious areas. We shall get you a place to sleep. It is nice when you mix with
As
the
long,
family for it to
and
make
yeah,
it a little
as
crazy.
long as I don't sleep out in the barn with the animals, I'm good.
No, you won't. You won't. We've got bedrooms here. We got you won't. Of course, if it's sleeping and yeah, you wake up and you move to places, see places. Yeah, at least I know it will give you another view and another picture in
Yeah,
your
it'd be
mind.
nice.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's the season. When you go to the farm, you just feed on the fruits. You can remove the jackfruit and feed on that as you're farming. You eat some fruits. It's better than when it's season for these things. You don't fancy being in the city.
Of course.
What
Yeah, when you
what
go
used
like,
um what used to be hard in the villages some time back was not having electricity. And you are used to that life of having electricity, watching TV. But now people have electricity. Like now I'm working from home.
yeah,
I
yeah,
have lights, I have
that's
electricity.
that's okay because I'll bring, if you guys have no electricity, I'll bring some solar panels with me out there. See what you're doing?
Oh,
I'm going to Uganda. I got my solar panel. I'm going to the village. Shit, I got to have lights. put these solar panels up. Shit.
there are lights. There are lights.
Just in, just in case there was no lights, I got to bring my solar panels just in case.
Yeah, I know. Our house has solar panels. If the
Now, there you
electricity
go.
was solar was too light.
All right,
So
good.
that's why at times you see innocent is not on for me. I'm live because
Yeah.
I'm having constant power.
Yes, yeah. His power went out back in the city.
Yeah, true. And I don't know why in the village, even if it rains, at times power doesn't go off. But in the city, it does.
Mm.
And yet villages have a lot of trees. I would be expecting power to be going off when it rains.
Mm. Hey, you guys don't
But
get, since you guys were out there by the village. I remember you guys' village was close to
doesn't.
was close was close to the Rwandan border, wasn't it? Isn't you guys' village close to the Rwandan border down there? Or was it close to Congo? You guys were close to Rwanda, I think, right?
Yeah, close to Congo. It's close to Congo.
Okay, okay, it's close to Congo then. Yeah,
My
so
village is
shit.
close to
So so
Congo.
so
Yeah.
so so I ain't gotta worry about no damn wild gorillas coming up into the village. I gotta fight a gorilla or nothing, right?
If like we go to the stream, if we go to the stream, you might see one.
Yeah.
If we go to get water, if we go to the stream to get water, you might see one. You
All
might see
right.
chimpanzees and gorilla, yeah, and gorillas.
Yeah, I want to punch the
But
gorilla in the
it is,
mouth.
but it is Africa's nature.
Of course, I know that. I've been to Africa, Marie. I've seen the nature. I'm just asking. I don't want to be out trying to. I don't want to be trying to pick no fruit. A big ass gorilla come walking up on me like, oh shit.
And where we are, you will even see antelopes around. You'll even see some elephants. If you move further,
Oh, you guys got
it's
elephants around there. Okay. What about
yeah.
what about you guys? Ain't got no damn lions out there, do you? Any lions walking around?
Lions don't usually come to noisy places.
Yeah,
Yeah, they don't usually, but elephants move anyhow. Lions
yeah.
don't usually come to noisy places. Hunters are the ones who find the lions in deep, deep forest because for them they don't come to noisy places.
Hmm.
So it is hard for you to see, but you can see leopards.
See, see,
So
see. So the leopards come up. See the leopards come up and close. Shit. That's like in Florida when the leopards come out the damn trees and bushes on your ass out the forest. Leopard is dangerous. Shit. Have to shoot the shit out of leopard. Oh, I think I lost you, Marie.